Welcome students. Today we will start History chapter 4, the first cities. In this chapter we will learn about meaning of civilization, extent of the Indus Valley civilization, features of the Indus Valley civilization, life of the people, art and craft, decline of the Indus Valley civilization. So let's start from meaning of civilization. Children, civilization means the advanced stage of human development. As you know, early humans began to live a settled life when they transitioned from hunting gathering to farming. The basic characteristics of a civilization include settled life, growth of towns, surplus production, permanent building structure, development of language, script, and a culture secured by a strong political system. Now about the Indus Valley civilization. The first two sites to be excavated in the Indus Valley civilization are Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. Now lie in present-day Pakistan. Since Harappa was one of the first sites to be excavated, so the Indus Valley civilization is also known as the Harappan civilization. There are more than 1,000 sites that belong to the Indus Valley civilization. In India, the Indus Valley sites include, among many others, Lothal, Dholavira, Kalibangan, Ropar, Banavali, Kot Diji, and Chan Hudaru. Now, the features of the Indus Valley civilization. Historians and archaeologists have observed the following features in the Indus Valley civilization: a highly developed sense of town planning and a well-developed drainage system, red and black pottery, large number of seals, use of baked and sun-dried mud bricks in construction, practice of burying the dead, the presence of a well-developed religion. Now let's start about in detail town planning. Town planning is one of the most spectacular features of the Indus Valley civilizations. The cities were well planned and followed a grid pattern that is in rectangular blocks. Burnt bricks were used in construction. All drains were covered and each house had its own drainage system that was connected to the public drains. The citadel was another important structure in the Indus Valley civilization. The Indus Valley cities were divided into the citadel and the lower town. The citadel was built on a raised platform towards the west. All important public buildings were located here. The lower town included the rest of the city where most of population resided. The important building structures found in the Indus Valley civilization include the Great Bath and the Great Granary. The Great Bath was a rectangular pool made of bricks. With the help of bitumen and tar, it was made watertight. It also had separate rooms for changing clothes. The Great Granary. To store surplus grains, the Indus people built large granaries near the river banks. The excavations at Mohenjo-daro, Harappa and Rakhi Garhi reveal massive buildings that were used to store food grains. Streets of Harappan cities did not have narrow lanes, but broad roads which were around 10 meters in width. These roads cut one another at 90 degrees. giving the cities a grid-like pattern. Now, after the features of Indus Valley civilization, now let's talk about the life of the people. Social life. Student, as the historians studies, according to them, there were probably different social groups in the Harappan civilization. At the top were the rulers who not only ruled the other classes but also took important decisions such as building of monuments, constructions of road, etc. Then there were other groups such as the physicians, the artists and the farmers and laborers. The society was also divided in terms of power, prestige, and money. The bigger houses were probably meant for the rich, whereas the smaller two-room cottages were for the poor. About clothing, Harappan man wore something similar to a dhoti, whereas the woman wore skirts and used cotton as well as woolen clothing. Both wore a shawl as the upper garment, which went over the left shoulder and under the right arm. Agriculture was the main occupation of the people as the civilization flourished near a river bank. Other occupations included trade, pottery making, and jewelry making. The staple food of the Indus Valley people included wheat, barley, rice, milk, fruits, vegetables like peas, and different meat products. The Harappans domesticated oxen, buffalo, sheep, and goats for milk, meat, and other uses. Donkeys and camels were probably used as beasts of burden, and cats and dogs as pets. People were involved in many other occupations also.